Hey, what's up guys, it's Bakes, and first of all I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope everyone has had a good, safe 2022, and now that we're rolling forward into 2023, I want to wish everybody the best of luck and best wishes with whatever they have planned going forward in the new year or future endeavors that they have ahead of them. In today's video, we're going to be having a look back at my year of YouTube throughout the whole of 2022, my first year of having a YouTube channel, as well as looking forward into 2023, you know, the future content and plans that I have for this channel, as well as just letting you guys know about some changes that I'm going to be making here on the channel, as well as housekeeping. Just a general heads up for what's coming forward on this channel. But before I get any deeper into today's video, I just want to make you guys aware that this video is going to potentially run for a long time, and as I said, I'm going to be talking about this past year on YouTube as well as the future for this channel. And throughout those two talking points, I'm going to bring up lots of different topics of conversation, and I understand not every topic is going to interest everybody. So if you feel like you're sort of starting to check out of this video, as I said, I'm going to be talking about a lot of things, so I would recommend hitting the time bar because I'm going to put chapters in this video and just have a look through and see if there's any topics of conversation coming up that do interest you. I just don't want you guys clicking out of the video when I am going to be talking about something that might interest you in just a matter of minutes. So I just want to make you guys aware of that in today's video. As I just mentioned before, I have now done my first full year of YouTube and uploading content, which is crazy to think about. It feels like not that long ago I uploaded my first few videos, but now that it has been some time, I also feel like I'm starting to wrap my head around the whole creator / content side of things also, which a lot of people would say is pretty straightforward, which it kind of is. But considering first of all I'm not the brightest person, but also this started off as a hobby, it is cool to look back and see how much I feel like I've learnt through this time, as well as I said, the fact that I've been doing it for a year I think is kind of cool also. I believe my first upload was like late January, possibly early February of 2022, something like that. So technically it hasn't been a full cycle, but I'm rounding it up and calling it a year as we go into 2023. I think that's fair enough. I'm not trying to get nitpicky with it. I think it's cool to call it a year. I think currently at the moment, if I remember correctly, I'm at 80 subscribers or something around that, which is also really fucking cool to me. I did not expect to have 80 subscribers by this point. I'm not sure if that's about average for a channel around for this long, maybe slightly above, slightly below. I guess it's a hard thing to judge in general, I guess. But if you asked me, you know, before I started this channel, how many subscribers after 12 months, I probably would have said about half, honestly, probably less. So as I said, 80 is crazy to me, and I'm so grateful to all my subscribers and everyone who showed my content and channel support in general. I hope you guys really do understand how appreciative I am of all that. I have brought this up before, but I think it's a cool time to bring it up again now that it has been a whole year on YouTube. Why I started a channel in the first place. To me, this was a hobby. I work full-time, but I wanted something to do on the side, something that I really cared about and something that I'd find rewarding. And something that I'm passionate about in my life is horror movies. I love watching them, I love talking about them, I love listening to people talk about them, I love the whole horror community. I also really love music. If you're familiar with my channel, I sometimes do music content on the side also. But they're two things that I really care about in my life, so it was a no-brainer to have this sort of as my hobby and, you know, start this community and talking about movies with you guys. I knew for a while before starting my channel that I wanted to do YouTube. I'd say for like 2-3 years, honestly. I got into horror at a very young age. Like, I still am kind of young now. I'm turning 22 this year. But yeah, I was real young when I got into horror. Like, I didn't even have enough pocket money to buy horror movies. I just loved the genre. So I was obviously watching horror YouTubers growing up. You know, one of my friends, Mood616 on YouTube, Double Shot J, the whole 22 Shots and Moods and Horror community and podcast. I grew up watching them, which is like crazy to think about, but I really did, and they were like role models to me. It sounds weird because I'm sort of in that community now, and I love watching those guys and hearing their podcasts. I still watch them to this day, all of them. You know, I really looked up to those guys, and those were sort of the people that introduced me to more like lesser known horror movies and foreign films and that sort of stuff. And as I said, I loved watching their videos, you know, their collection, show-offing, everything that they have, all that sort of stuff, their podcasts. I just loved that, and I knew that's something that I wanted to do also, so that's my whole reason of getting into YouTube in the first place, honestly. Now, there were a few things that I tried to work on this past year on YouTube. One of them was trying to keep a consistent quality between my content, and what I mean by that was there was a few times where people actually left comments like, why don't I make my videos with a higher quality or put more production into them? And I could. And if you're a regular on my channel, you guys would know that sometimes I'll throw a graphic in there or something on the side to spice it up and keep it fresh. But if I'm being completely honest, at the end of the day, it's not something I overly care for. I like my videos to be a bit more relaxed and laid back, you know. I want it to be like we're sitting across from each other, just hanging out, talking shit about movies, honestly. I could have things flying around the screen and segments of the movie playing while I speak. But when I watch the people that I watch on YouTube, I like to feel connected and I have a full understanding of their point of view of whatever the video is about. You know, I don't like too many distractions. I like it to be laid back. And that's how I want my videos to be, because I'm a pretty laid back person too, and hopefully you guys like that style. And don't get me wrong, when I feel like the video needs to be a bit more showy, it's a bit more of an occasion, I will throw things in there. But just in general, I like my videos to be a bit more laid back, and hopefully you guys do too. Another thing I tried to work on was finding a balance for mainstream horror movie fans and die-hard horror movie fans. Now, I'm not trying to say that I know everything about the genre, or that I've seen every movie ever, or I'm a 5-star general of horror, but I would consider myself a die-hard horror movie fan, and I know that I know more than the average horror movie fan, I suppose. And there's been times where in the comments, you know, me and someone else have gotten really deep into, you know, some really obscure movies, and I feel like I could do that more on my channel. But the thing is, I don't want to exclude mainstream horror fans or people that just have a general knowledge on horror, because I'm not trying to gatekeep horror movies, and I feel like that's something that you see way too often. And I'm not gonna lie, I've done that in the past, not so much on YouTube, but just in my real life, because I'm sure if you're a die-hard horror fan, there's been so many situations where you're just listening to someone who just has an average knowledge of horror movies, and you're just sitting there going, oh, and your skin's like peeling off and your blood's boiling and whatever. But I'm not trying to gatekeep the genre. I think that's stupid. I want to be inclusive, and you know, when you first get into, you know, movies or horror movies in this case, you know, you have to start somewhere, and a lot of the time that is just mainstream stuff that a lot of people would know of. So I want to be inclusive. I want people to come to this channel and learn and expand their knowledge if they need to. So I don't want to, you know, go too far in, you know, the die-hard territory and cut out the mainstream, but also I really do enjoy talking about some obscure stuff, you know. As I said, I started off in the horror genre at a very young age, so that gave me just more chance to learn about things, more time to learn about things. A lot of the people that I watched on YouTube, as I said, they filled in the blanks for, you know, knowledge on foreign films and really obscure old flicks and whatever. So I want to be inclusive to all, and that's something also that I've been really working on. Next up, I thought it'd be kind of fun to actually get into specific videos and sort of break down the two halves of content that I feature here on my channel. What I mean by that is one half horror, the other half music. Even though it's probably more 80% horror and 20% music, I thought it'd be kind of cool to actually go into some specs and break down which content worked and which didn't. If you see me looking down, it's because I got an iPad here where I went back through my year's worth of content and sort of took note of the more notable things that happened. So as I said, starting off with my horror half, the more successful half of my channel, my more notable half, the one that I put the most effort into. So my most viewed video on my channel, just in general, is actually kind of a newer video. It was my ranked episode of the Child's Play franchise, where I ranked from my least favourite Child's Play film to my most favourite. Now, before I say how many views it currently has at the time of this recording, my second most viewed video, which obviously got overtaken by Child's Play, was my review of Jordan Peele's Us, where it currently stands at 161 views. I remember when that video came out and it was going up in views, that completely fucking blew my shitter. I was like, no fucking way, because at the time, a successful video for me was about 40 views, something like that. This one, like, overnight went to about 70 or 80, and that fucking blew my mind. And I thought, no joke, my head got big. I was like, fucking hell, I'm game changing right here. That blew my mind. Obviously, some time went by. My videos were starting to get a little more successful. I was really proud of the effort that I was putting in. Now, the Child's Play franchise ranking, this was sort of like a last minute thing. I was sort of running out of time to put content out, so I was like, I'll just rank the Child's Play franchise. And I do like doing the ranked series, so I slapped that together. As I said, the Jordan Peele Us review was 161. That's the second most viewed video on my channel. Child's Play franchise is currently at, as I said at the time of this recording, 581. So it completely blew Us out of the fucking water. And I don't know why so many people connected with this one. I really don't know. I had my Chucky doll featuring in that video, so maybe he helped a little bit. But that fucking blew my mind. Like it almost didn't even make me think back on Us, because like it blew Us out of the water. I don't know why so many people connected with that Child's Play franchise ranking video, but they did. Now, a few videos that were more successful than what I thought. My review of Cigarette Burns. If you don't know what Cigarette Burns is, it's a episode of Masters of Horror directed by John Carpenter. People really liked that one. Another one that people really liked was my review of the Banana Splits movie. That's a fun movie, don't get me wrong, but people fucking ate that shit up. Some of my personal favourite videos. Now, I've said this many times before, some of my favourite videos to record are my collection update videos, just because it's fun to look back at the things that I've picked up over the past 3 months and share it with you guys. And, you know, it's fun to quickly go through a movie and then go to another one and then go to another one. I just really like doing that. So they were all fun to do. Same with my ranked series, you know, it's pretty easy. Just grab a franchise and rank them from my least favourite to favourite. And that normally gets people talking in the comments as well. But what comes to mind for some of my personal favourite videos, you know, there was some that I felt were underrated, like my review of Phoenix Forgotten. For the longest time, that was getting no views. I was like, what the fuck? But my personal favourite videos was kind of in this long stretch. It sort of started with my review of Bite, and then it followed on with my review of Dolly Dearest, and then it kind of went to my review of the Wrong Turn remake, and it sort of died off a little bit again, but I really liked that stretch of videos, purely because they weren't getting crazy amounts of views or anything, but I feel like people were really invested in my content at that time. I was feeling very good about it, you know, I was laid back, I was happy, I was enjoying the way that the videos were coming out, and I think people were really connecting to it. There was actually people leaving comments like, I really like your laid back approach that I was talking about before. They were really interested in the movies. Yeah, and I really like when people comment, because I love chatting about movies in the comments with them, and yeah, that was probably my favourite stretch of videos that I had for the year. Another thing to bring up, my top 10 videos. I really like doing top 10 videos, but I sort of run low on ideas. I wish my top 10 videos were a little bit more successful, but overall, not too bad. And that's my breakdown for the horror half of my channel. Moving on now and doing the exact same thing for the music half of my channel. Now, before we get too deep into it, I don't want to beat around the bush. I am fully aware that the music half of my channel is a lot less successful than the horror movie half. That was to be expected right from the get-go. When I made this channel, it was predominantly going to be horror movie stuff, sort of just doing music stuff off to the side as just, you know, a change of pace every now and then. I love music just as much as I love horror movies, both just as impactful to me in my real life. But I find it easier to talk about horror movies and, you know, relate to that community a bit easier. So I'm fully aware not a lot of people come to the channel for my music side of things. If you are, show some support in the comments, because I really feel like there's not many people. I guarantee a lot of people are skipping this part of the video. If you're here, you are one of very few. But yeah, I am fully aware it's less successful, but the first thing I want to bring up actually is the lack of music content recently, especially my random album reviews and tracklist rankings. And that's purely because I'm trying to find a more convenient way of doing those videos, and having them come off as more fluid and natural, because as I said, I find it easier to talk about horror movies compared to talk about albums and everything, because when you're doing an album you have to break down the specific songs, and I just find it a little bit harder. And I want my videos, even though I'm not disappointed in the way that they've come out, I just feel like they could be more natural, more laid back. I don't know, something about them, I definitely want to work on them as well. So as I said, there's been a lack of music content recently, and there probably is going to be a bit more of a stretch of that going forward, but I'm working on it. One thing that I've really enjoyed doing though for the music half of my channel is my music top 10s. I feel like they're really underrated. Yes, they're not getting as much views still, but I'm really happy with the way they're turning out. So if you want to check out some of my music top 10s, they're really cool. I feel like they're underrated, so maybe check them out. But yeah, I just want to make you guys aware, I am trying to improve my music side of things on the channel, even though, as I said, not a lot of people care, but I just thought I would let you guys know. Alright, so next up I thought I'd actually get into the series that I feature here on my channel. I'm going to do it all rapid fire. Again, I have them listed here on the iPad, and I just thought I'd go in and sort of talk about my general thoughts looking back on these series through 2022. So starting off with my random horror reviews, I mean, it's my most featured series on my channel, and I can't complain, I'm genuinely pretty happy. Some of them obviously less successful, but that's just the way that the cookie crumbles. I think my review of the Washingtonians, it's got like 4 views to date. So there's some that, you know, don't really click, but overall pretty happy with the series. Next up is my horror movie top 10s. Now, as I said before, I wish they were more successful. And I also need people to recommend me ideas for top 10s, which no one does. I always say in those videos, give me ideas. I just thought I'd have more, but honestly, I wish they were more successful, because I'm not completely unhappy with the way those videos turn out, but just my 2 cents. My ranked series, again, pretty happy. My most successful video to date, as I said before, me ranking the Child's Play franchise, is part of that ranked series, so more successful than my top 10s, which I'm surprised with, because it's sort of the same thing, you know, top 10 and ranking a series, you know, it's sort of similar, but either way, pretty successful. Next up, I got my update videos. As I said, they're my favorite to record, just because I like to go back through and look at everything that I picked up over the past like 3 months and share them with you guys, and I feel like you guys like them as well. But I definitely noticed that a lot of people watch my DVD part of the collection updates and then bounce, which is fine. As I said, I'm not going to force you to watch the whole video, but I'm almost thinking, do I do it in 2 parts? Do I do horror movie DVD update and then album update on the side? But then the thing is, the album update would just be very short. I find it easier to just squeeze it in the back. I don't know, it's something that I'm tossing around, but overall my collection updates I'm pretty happy with. My random album reviews and tracklist rankings, as I said before, I'm just on a break with them at the moment. I'm just trying to find a more convenient way to do it, and something that's a bit more natural and comfortable for me. Maybe that's the best way of saying it. But as I said before, my music top 10s, I feel like they're really underrated. I love putting those videos together. I find them to be so much fun. I wish they were more successful, so go and check them out if you haven't. And finally, the last series that I featured on my channel, my unboxings. That was sort of a last minute series thrown together. I just realized that, you know, I had a fair few things coming in the mail that I thought would be pretty cool. So every now and then I slap together an unboxing video. And that there is all the series that I ran through for my 2022 YouTube. Alright, so now we're done looking back at my YouTube channel for 2022. Time to look at my YouTube channel going forward into the new year. As I said, I'm mostly just going to be talking about some changes that I'm hoping to implement into the future, as well as a bit of housekeeping, just so you guys are aware of everything going on. But I also want to talk about some cool content ideas that I have lined up and hopefully can start up in 2023. But the first things that I want to talk about are just some small, minute things that I can quickly fly through. They're a bit stupid, but I can do them at a quick pace. So starting off, this one's a bit funny. I was so close to changing my YouTube channel name at the end of last year going into this year. So let's break it down and explain why. My YouTube channel, CalebBakes01, I've decided that I'm going to keep it and commit to it. But the reason is, Caleb, that's my first name. but no one ever calls me Caleb. And I'm not just saying on YouTube, in real life, no one calls me Caleb. It's a rarity for people to call me that. Everyone calls me Bakes. I'm not going to explain why, but everyone calls me Bakes. I never get called Caleb. And as I said, I like my content to be, sort of chill, laid back, just sort of hanging out. Caleb just feels too formal. Now, if you call me Caleb in the comments, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. But I think just Bakes is honestly easier. I'm probably going to introduce myself or my videos as saying, hey, it's Bakes. Just Caleb's weird. No one ever calls me that, as I said. But either way, you can call me whatever. I was going to try and keep Bakes, take away the Caleb, and, maybe put a horror reference into my channel name. But as I said, it's been a year. I got to commit to it, so I'm keeping Caleb Bakes 01, but I just thought that was a funny idea. Thumbnails. I'm going to be changing how I do my thumbnails. I'm just going to make them a little bit more presentable and hopefully just better looking for people who are scrolling through, because no one wants to see me just holding up a movie or anything. It's stupid. So I'm going to just try and make them a bit more presentable for people. I thought this was just important to bring up, because sometimes when I'm watching the YouTubers that I watch and they change their thumbnail style, even when it's the same series, I get a bit confused. I'm like, are they changing the series? Everything's going to be the same. I'm just going to be changing up the thumbnails. Just thought I'd let you know. And last quick thing to bring up is my upload schedule. So it is going to be less often, which is going to, I know I probably don't have a lot of diehard fans, but for my fans, I know that's going to be a little bit annoying. But the thing is, when I started YouTube this past year, 2022, I feel like I sort of underestimated, how much content I was going to be putting out. I thought I was going to be doing like 3-4 videos a week. That was not the case. As I said, I work full time, at least 5 days a week, countless hours a day. And sometimes I just don't have time to record videos or even just watch movies, or even when I do have the time, a lot of the time I'm too tired to do it. So hopefully, as I said, I know maybe some people will be disappointed, but hopefully you guys can understand. At the moment, I'm roughly doing 3 to 4 videos every 2 weeks. But going into this new year, it's more likely going to be 2 to 3 every 2 weeks. I just thought I'd let you guys know that, and yeah, they're just some quick points that I wanted to quickly go through. Okay, so now we can finally talk about some cool content ideas that I have going forward in this year. Particularly this January. I think January is going to be a big month on my channel from now on, and you'll see why when I sort of go through this list of ideas that I'm sort of tossing around at the moment. Some of them are set in stone, others aren't. As I said, I just think these are really cool content ideas that I have lined up for this month, so I just want to make you guys aware of it. So the first idea I have is pretty much set in stone. It's a given. Top 10 favorite horror movies of 2022. I mean, every horror movie channel normally looks back at the year before and gives you a list of their favorites. That one's pretty much set in stone. I'm thinking of an idea of top 10 favorite movies I reviewed from the year before. So that's not movies from 2022. I'll be picking my 10 favorite movies that I watched in my random horror reviews and doing a list of them. I'm also thinking of doing a huge episode of Ranked where I rank every single horror movie that I saw from 2022, but there's a few question marks over that one. One, that video will literally go forever, so I'm thinking maybe I do it in like a sort of flash sort of way about it, where I do it each movie like 30 seconds and try and do it nice and quick. But then also the question is, why would I do a top 10 video when I'm going to be ranking every single movie from the year anyway? So I'm thinking maybe I edit my top 10 out of it. I don't know, as I said, these are just ideas at the moment. For my music half of the channel, I'll be doing my top 10 favorite songs from 2022, and I'll be doing a ranked of my favorite albums from 2022. Now, the reason why I'm not doing my top 10 favorite albums from 2022, I'm a lot more particular with my music compared to my movies. I pick up movies all the time, even if I know they're shit, I just grab them. Music, I'm a lot more like, I need to really like the album. So sometimes I don't have 10. This year I have over 10, and I think it's fair enough to just add a few more albums to make it a ranking instead of a top 10. But there's some really cool content ideas that I have lined up for January, just to let you guys know. Alright, so now time to get into my content ideas for 2023 in general. And now the first one is a collection overview video or series. I've been wanting to do a video or series like this for a while, if I'm being completely honest. These are some of my favorite videos to watch on YouTube, but also recently in the comments I've been having people ask me if they can see my entire horror movie collection, which as I said, I'm cool with. They're some of my favorite videos to watch, as I said, so I'm all down for it. But I'm trying to figure out the best way of doing it. I can either do it all in one video, but the video goes forever, because there's a lot of movies to go through. I can do it all in one video and just sort of pull out random titles and just show the shelf in general, which I'm not too sure about. But the preferred way that I'd like to do it is in a shelf by shelf series. If you're unfamiliar with a shelf by shelf series, it's going to be in multiple episodes, and in each episode I'll run through one layer of the shelf, show you each individual title, and then the next episode, the next shelf, and then the next shelf. So eventually we'll go through everything. It will just be in a series instead of one big video. I think that's the way that I'd prefer to do it, but let me know otherwise, or if you'd like to see sort of a collection overview just in general. Another thing I'd like to do is movie nights / marathon videos. Pretty much what you hear there. I'm just going to have a horror movie night or a marathon night. It could be me, or I'll invite some of my friends over. We'll do snack runs, whatever, and I'll just make a night of it, film the whole thing. I think it's a really cool idea. Just to let you guys know, none of these ideas are original either, but I think a marathon / movie night thing would be pretty cool. And the last idea I have is a Q&A. This one's a little bit iffy because I rarely get comments anyway, and the comments that I do get, it's sort of 50-50 on questions or just, you done a good job. So the question is, where are these questions for the Q&A going to come from? But if you'd like to see one, let me know and I'll do my best at collecting some questions to answer in that video. Alright, so the last thing I want to talk about before we go is something that I mentioned very early in the video, but I just want to bring it up again. My subscribers. Guys, again, as I said, I'm so grateful for all of you. I know it's only 80 at the moment, and maybe in the long run that's not a high number, but for me, it's so much more than what I expected to have, so I'm so grateful for you all. Even the people who just frequently visit my channel and show my content and videos and whatever else love. As I said, I'm lost for words. I really am so grateful, and I hope you guys understand my appreciation for yous. But there's a few things that I do want to hopefully improve on going forward in this year. It's nothing crazy, but I want to see maybe you guys get a bit more involved, more comments, more discussions. I want to have, open talks about horror movies and people's opinions, and, learn about what people's favorite movies are. And I want open discussions, and, I'm not going to force you guys to. Obviously, it's whatever you want to do, but I'd really like to see that. I'd like it to become more of a community where we can talk about horror movies and, everyone vibes like that. Another thing I want to talk about is those who are subscribed, start using the bell icon, because I've noticed, especially recently, a lot of my subscribers are missing out on my videos, and I presume it's the bell icon. If you're unaware of what the bell icon does, it literally notifies you that a new video has come out, because sometimes when you're subscribed, it doesn't really always let you know. So if you hit the bell icon, there's no chance of missing out on knowing that I've put a new video out. And the last thing is just general support. As I said, I'm grateful for anything, honestly. This one's a little bit nitpicky, but the likes, the comments, sharing, everything really helps me. And, as I said, I'm grateful for what I've got so far, but just every little bit helps. And, yeah, as I said, I'm so grateful for you guys, but yeah, thank you. Alright, so this video's run long enough, but thank you for joining me for this, guys. Hopefully you guys stuck around and got really interested in some of the points that I brought up. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on all the things that I brought up here, whether it's the content coming or some of the changes happening, some of the videos that have happened in the past year and you remember fondly. I want to hear you guys in the comments on your thoughts of this video and the topics that I brought up. But again, guys, I just want to thank everyone for helping me out this year. As I said, it was my first year on YouTube, and it was a little bit scary getting started and everything, but I feel like I've got a lot of views who have my back and are enjoying my content, and I'm very appreciative of you all. But I'm going to leave this video here, guys, and I'll see you for a new video soon. Peace.